2022 has been one of the best years for music in hip hop history. From the game's biggest stars returning to new stars emerging, this year will go down as a landmark year for hip hop due to all of the greatness that it has encompassed. Today, we will be looking at the best 75 albums that released within this legendary year, and with the competition being at an all time high, this was one of the hardest lists to ever grace. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Kicking off our list at number 75, we have Dreamville and DJ Drama's D-Day, which was Dreamville's first project as a label since Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and it continued right where that project left off. Along with some high-profile guests, we see JID, J. Cole, Earth Gang, Boz, and the rest of the Dreamers find themselves with an exciting collaborative environment, and through the crew's blaring creative energy, and of course the legendary narration from DJ Drama, Dreamville has left us with another collection of tracks that make for some great fun. At number 74, we have Stormzy's This Is What I Mean, and this album showcases the UK rapper as he gets more introspective and in tune with his feelings through his newly found melodically driven sound. Next up on this list, at number 73, we have Rico Nasty's Las Runas, which was an explosion of the amazing creative scope that the 25-year-old rapper possesses. Rico's high energy creates an array of crazy bangers on this record, and the project gets a nice layer of personality to it from moments where Rico explores her feelings through past relationships with ex-lovers and even her own son. Cracking our list at the number 72 spot, we got Boldy James and Future Waves' Mr. 1008, which is one of the many Boldy James records released this year, and it excels with the Detroit MC going on lyrical barrages over muddied up, minimally produced instrumental loops from producer Future Wave. Next up on our list, at the number 71 spot, we have Smino's Love for Rent, which is an otherworldly musical experience as a result of Smino's harmonious vocals and the record's glossy soundscape, which combined make you transcend into another world for the project's entire 51-minute duration. At number 70, we have Brockhampton's final group album, TM, which, even just being a collection of unreleased songs that the group did not put out throughout their years together, hearing the group one more time ends off their legendary run with them riding off into the sunset. At the number 69 spot, we have the game's Drillmatic, which despite its 30-song price tag, features some of the game's best material in nearly a decade as he pushes himself to evolve with the times and collaborate with a long list of great stars. Next up, we have Earth Gang's fourth studio album, Ghetto Gods, which is another exciting effort from the pair of Dr. Dodd and Johnny Venus, where the duo continues to expand their skill set, finding the most hectic environments and soundscapes to show off their chemistry in. At number 67, we have Quavo and Takeoff's Only Built for Infinity Links, which is hands down the best effort to come from any of the Migos group or solo since the first Culture record. Quavo and Takeoff feel so rejuvenated on this album as the way Takeoff's lyrical punches play off Quavo's larger-than-life persona serves to make one of the most exciting and fun trap albums of the entire year. Rest in peace, Takeoff. He was a generational talent that will never be forgotten. Coming in at number 66, we have Westside Gunn's Peace Fly God, which is an overlooked but special little moment in the Griselda timeline, as Wes uses this record to highlight the strengths he has as an executive producer, and he uses it to highlight Stove God Cooks and E-Snack as they shine throughout most of the record. In addition to these MCs, West's own performance over instrumentals from producers like the Scorching Hot Camouflage Monk and the legendary Madlib add even more gems to his legendary catalog. At number 65, we have Fivio Foreign's Kanye West executive produced debut album, Bible, which this album really highlights just how far Fivio came after stealing the show on his Ye and Cardi collab, Off the Grid. The record feels like the Donda of drill music. Its score encompasses traditional elements of drill, but pushes them to new heights with the combination of gospel-infused production, a star-studded feature list, and at the center of it all, Fivio's career-defining performance, which shows that he can be just as heartfelt as he can be tough. At number 64, we have the debut album from the rap group Coast Contra, Apartment 505. Now, embodying everything from jazz rap to trap music, this group of brothers makes a conscious hip-hop record that explores many of the hardships one is bound to face in their life, but spins these setbacks into positive moments of inspiration and musical beauty. Next up, we have the long-awaited follow-up to North Carolina rapper Mavi's Let the Sun Talk, Laughing So Hard It Hurts, which despite focusing more on melodies and atmosphere as opposed to profound lyrical expression, the record is another solid body of work as Mavi explores his battles with loneliness and heartbreak. Coming in at number 62, We have the Queen of Griselda, Armani Caesar's sophomore release on the label, The Liz 2, which continues to show Armani's artistic improvement as her rhymes become more complex and fierce, and she also shows how singing can be implemented into the Griselda formula to engineer more exciting song structures. At the number 61 spot, we have upcoming New York rapper Joaquin the Divine's latest album, Black Sun Zoo, which is a lyrically sharp concept album that explores Joaquin's code as a man and how he uses these values to navigate through our burning world like a true warrior. Moving into the top 60, we have another MC from the Divine Records crew, KJ, whose album Incognito is another underground hip-hop gem through its lyrical intensity, fast-moving storytelling, and musical world building, which makes the entire record feel like a funk-filled 1970s drama. At the number 59 spot, we have legendary UGK rapper Bun B's second collab album with the one, the only Static Selecta, Trill Static 2, and this record encompasses just as much action as its predecessor through Static's soulful boom bap loops, Bun's unmatched swagger, and guest appearances from a long list of stars including Big Crit, Dave East, Paul Wall, and Boldy James to name a few. Moving on to number 58, we have another sequel album with Lloyd Banks' Course of the Inevitable 2. Now, over dark and pulsing beats, the former G-Unit member proves he is in his second prime through his lyrical tenacity and aggression, which makes for one of the most motivating and badass albums that is released in quite some time. Number 57, we have Duke Deuce's Memphis Massacre 3, which is the latest piece in Memphis hip-hop's lineage to show the region's signature sound at its optimal usage. Duke's haunting vocals and the ominous instrumentals make for a masterclass in musical world building, and the record is so fun and so enjoyable as a result of all of this. At number 56, we have the upcoming duo Don't Miss's debut project Lucy's. Composed of rapper R. Davis and producer Nasty Beats, this pairing shows their love for hip-hop culture as they trap themselves within listeners' hearts through their cutting-edge creativity and blaring emotion, which leaves their feet in the ground standing tall as a bright piece of hip-hop's future. At number 55, we have Kendrick Lamar's PG Lang imprint's newest signee, Tana Leone's debut project, Sleepy Soldier. Through spacey instrumentals and auto-tune singing, Leone's style puts a refreshing spin on trap music as his innovative vision for structure makes this record one of the premier musical worlds this year has seen. At 54, we have Che Noir's The Last Remnants, which is a narrative-driven project compiled of brutally honest reflections of Noir's, and she talks about her survival through trauma and how through these experiences she was able to turn herself into the person that she is today. Coming in at number 53, we have Ka's Languished Arts, which is a gloomy-sounding, tense lyrically driven work focusing on flaws within the system known as the United States of America and how the country has caused damage to minority groups, specifically black people. At number 52, we have the collab album between Boldy James and producer Nicholas Craven, Fair Exchange No Robbery, which is just another collection of Boldy James verses all over the drumless production of Nicholas Craven. Right outside of the top 50, we have Big Crit's Digital Roses Don't Die, which was a bold effort as Crit stepped outside of his comfort zone to show his singing ability, and through his serenading vocal hums and the soulful sound of the project, he created one of the most unique records the hip-hop space has seen in quite some time. Entering the top 50, we have Backwash's His Happiness Shall Come First, Even Though We Are Suffering. Infusing industrial hip-hop with horrorcore, Backwash has given us another album that is pure musical madness, and with the record's subject matter centered around Backwash's own inflicting feelings, along with her own thoughts on some of the world's biggest issues right now, the lyrics behind this musical hurricane add even more depth to this LP. At number 49, we got Before You Go from melodic rapper Blast, and through the illuminating soundscape of this project and Blast's own serenading vocals, we've been given one of the best melodically driven hip-hop records in quite some time with this one. At number 48, we have Babyface Ray's Face, and this is one of the hardest trap records of the year with its rambunctious sound, spicy guest list, which includes names such as Pusha T and Young Lean, and Babyface's own performance, which is filled with banterous tenacity. At number 47, we have Lucky's Flawless Like Me, and this album is one of the most well-defined trap records in terms of musical world building ever. The record's spacey sound is so intoxicating, and the way it traps you inside of it makes for one of the most unique listening experiences hip-hop has had to offer in all of this year. At number 46, we have Westside Gunn's star-studded record 10, and from the featured MCs on this album, which include ASAP Rocky, Run the Jewels, and Black Star to name a few, to the producers like RZA and Swizz Beatz, 10 is arguably the most name-driven record of any of Westside Gunn's musical roller coasters, and it is such a fun experience because of this. At number 45, we have Mike's Beware of the Monkey, and for another year in his career, he has shown how rich his taste is for crafting niche lo-fi instrumentals, and more importantly, he showed us where his life has been at over the past year through his personally driven lyrical narration. At number 44, we have Freddie Gibbs' Soul Sold Separately, and despite having some duds in the track list, Soul Sold Separately is a really good album filled with some of Freddie's highest highs and most mature tracks ever. At number 43, we have Boldy James and Real Bad Man's Killing Nothing, and with this being the third Boldy album on this list, it's the one that captures the Detroit MC's rapper-producer album formula best. At number 42, we have Billy Woods' Church, which is a lyrically intense album that features some of the most thought-provoking material released all year. At number 41, we have legendary rapper Cormega's The Realness 2, which after a long hiatus, Mega has proved that he is still an elite MC on this project. Cracking the top 40, we have Elzai's Zeitgeist, which is an album driven by the Detroit MC's veteran mentality and lyrical discipline. At number 39, we have the heart-touching record that is Phife Dawg's Forever, and this is really a beautiful posthumous album that honors everything that the Tribe Called Quest member stood for and embodied, while also showing where he was at before his passing and giving us some fun collaborations along the way. At number 38, we have Metro Boomin's Heroes and Villains, which is a star-studded thriller of an album filled with dark and psychedelic production and features from some of the brightest stars in the game like Future, 21 Savage, Young Thug, and Travis Scott. Next up at number 37, we have Drake and 21 Savage's Her Loss, and after years of releasing disappointing album after disappointing album, Drake has found out how to make good music again just by delivering hard verse after hard verse, all alongside the stone cold presence of 21 Savage. At number 36, we got Benny the Butcher's Tana Talk 4, which is another hard effort that highlights the Buffalo MC's ability to deliver fire lyrics over the signature production from names like Alchemist and Derringer. At number 35, we have the collab record between Pink Sifu and Real Bad Man, Real Bad Flights, and through 9 tracks, this rapper-producer duo shows just how well they click together by creating a one-of-a-kind vibe and stellar musical moments. At number 34, we have Earl Sweatshirt's Sick, and while not as emotionally intense as his other records, hearing Earl Sweatshirt at peace for the first time on any of his records was a beautiful sight to see. At number 33, we have Armand Hammer's Elucid's I Told Bessie, which is an amazing underground hip-hop record filled with relentless production and, of course, emotional and intense lyrical monologues from one of the hardest MCs in the entire underground, Elucid. Number 32, we have Kenny Beats' Louie, and with this album serving as a tribute record to his ill father, the instrumental power Kenny bakes into this record goes to show just how much emotion one can put into a simple beat. At number 31, we have Currency and the Alchemist's Continuous, which teams up this legendary duo once again so Currency can showcase his one-of-a-kind witty skill set all over the Alchemist's one-of-a-kind production style. Entering the top 30, we have Quelle Chris's Death Fame, and this is another special record filled with powerful messaging as Quelle looks back at his career in the rap game and his journey as a musician and questions if it's all been really worth it. At 29, we got another Griselda record in Rome Streets' debut on the label, Kiss the Ring, which is just gangster rap at its best. Seeing Rome destroy these unforgiving beats produced by Conductor Williams and Camouflage Monk is just so entertaining, and hearing all of the Griselda members feature on this album is also really exciting as well. At number 28, we have Fly Anakin's Frank, and this is another special record filled with Fly Anakin's one-of-a-kind creative footprint, and that allows for him to really sell us on who he is as an artist and why we should be invested in his journey. At number 27, we have Che Noir's Food for Thought, which is a super powerful record whose concept around the value of the food we consume with our minds is one that will leave you thinking for quite some time. At number 26, we have Kaz Woeful Studies, and with this record serving as a companion project to Languish Arts, the two cover the same thematic scope together, but this project just contains the better moments between the two. Cracking the top 25, and we are really in some elite territory now, we have Westside Boogie's More Black Superheroes, which is one of the most musically well-rounded albums on this list. Sierra Boogie gives a career-defining performance through the array of stories he tells to show both the good and the bad of what shaped him into the man he is today. At number 24, we have Open Mike Eagle's component system with the auto reverse, and just like his collaborator Quelly Chris's death fame, Mike spends this record pondering on his decisions as a man and as an artist to this point, wondering if the journey he's taken is the right one. At number 23, we have Vince Staples as Ramona Park Broke My Heart, and through this conceptual experience, Vince Staples highlights key moments and stories from his younger days that defined his entire life. At number 22, we have Ransom's No Rest for the Wicked, which thrives due to its gritty yet soulful soundscape, and of course, lyricist Ransom's performance, which is just as introspective and personal as it is hard-hitting. At number 21, we have one of the brightest upcoming rappers in hip-hop's latest record with Lord Sko's Museum. Coming from New York, this album embodies everything that makes hip-hop so special, but Sko evolves this with his one-of-a-kind touch and vision, which turns this record into one of the finest collections of great bars, great beats, and amazing collaborations that you can find out right now. Entering the top 20, we have Odd Future's Damo Genesis's Intros, Outros, and Interludes, which was entirely produced by Evidence, and just like many other records this year, this record was focused on Damo's maturity and growth as a person, and hearing another important artist of our time escape falling into the traps of the industry is both very healing and very powerful. At number 19, we have an album that was 6 years in the making, Ab-Soul's Herbert, and this record did not let down, being a masterclass on the lyrical arts, and even more shockingly, containing some of Ab-Soul's most personal and boundary-pushing material ever. At number 18, we have a record from the hottest young artist in hip-hop right now, Red Veil with Learn to Swim. Despite being 18 years old, Red Veil is already aware of how powerful his own emotions and mind can be, so he spends this record exploring how he can find peace with his reality, and through all of the creativity he pours into this record with his passionate presence and soul-touching self-produced soundscape, Learn to Swim is an album that we will not be forgetting about anytime soon. At number 17, we have Rock Marciano and The Alchemist, The Elephant Man's Bones, and with this dream collaboration between two titans finally coming together, the pair does not let down, delivering some of the best performances they have ever respectively given through Rock's signature wit and Uncle Al's one-of-a-kind touch on the boards. Right outside of the top 15, we have Loyal Carner's Hugo, which is a powerful record about exploring your identity. Loyal goes through an intense navigation on this project with his feelings as he attempts to become a better man, trying to understand where his father went wrong and where he can improve himself. This album really hits hard emotionally, and its jazzy sound makes it just as good musically as it is lyrically. Cracking the top 15, we have Logic's Vinyl Days, which is a celebration of hip-hop culture and Logic's career as a whole, as he makes a star-studded experience filled with sample-heavy boom-bap beats, features from all-time great hip-hop legends, and skits from high-profile names ranging from Anthony Fantano to Morgan Freeman. At number 14, we have Joey Badass's 2000, which was just a great return to form project from Joey, as he just murders beat after beat on this record with his one-of-a-kind presence and skill set, while also leaving in sprinkles of some truly powerful personal commentary and reflection. At number 13, we have Black Star's No Fear of Time, and despite growing off me since it came out, hearing Yasin Bey, formerly known as Mos Def, and Talib Kweli show off their lyrical genius over Madlib production is a treat that nobody should miss, and it still makes for one of the premier hip-hop experiences of the year. At number 12, we have Pusha T's It's Almost Dry, and following the career-defining moment that was his last album, Daytona, Push delivers another amazing experience filled with raunchy drug bars and complete production from Kanye West and Pharrell Williams. At number 11, we have Kevin Abstract's The Family, which is the most powerful musical piece about Brockhampton's separation, as we see Kevin sitting alone, weak and vulnerable, as he looks in his mind and tries to understand why his family has fallen apart and what he could have done to prevent this outcome from ever happening. From the short song length to the dreamlike soundscape, everything about this album shows us that Kevin's life is crumbling, and it's one of the most heartbreaking records of the year as a result of this. In the top 10, we have Little Simz's No Thank You, which while not as fleshed out or as intense as 2021's Sometimes I Might Be Introvert, it's still a great record that unravels Simz's thoughts about the music industry, what it's taken out of her, and how she will heal going forward. At number 9, we have Billy Woods' Ethiops, and from the haunting sound of the eerie instrumentals to Billy's monster-like delivery, this record is one of the most surreal experiences you will find on this list, and Billy's exploration through ideas such as stolen identity and a false reality will challenge you to question things more than most records will. At number 8, We have Quedeca's I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, and this is hands down one of the biggest leaps any artist has ever taken forward, as Quedeca proves to be a conceptual mastermind, telling us a story about one's death and how they perceive everything around them as a ghost. There's so many layers to the way this record explores grief, and with Quedeca's chilling vocals and self-production, this record is a true work of art that there is nothing like. At number 7, we have Conway the Machine's magnum opus, God Don't Make Mistakes, which embodies everything we love about the Buffalo MC, but also turns him into so much more as he explores his demons through grief and untold stories that he's been hiding. From addiction to loss, Conway shows us that despite his relentless demeanor and killer punchlines, he hurts just like the rest of us, and by opening these layers up, this powerful experience has earned its placement as one of the best albums to come out this year. Right outside of the top 5, we have Lupe Fiasco's Drill Music in Zion, which may be the best commentary on the music industry hip hop has ever received. From the way Lupe depicts artists being taken advantage of by the industry, to how the messaging of these executives are pushed out to make people do things such as buy fake jewelry and cause violence, Lupe's ability to see through the cracks allows for him to add such a unique perspective and understanding to these commonly discussed issues, and one that people can truly learn and make change from. To be in this top 5, you really do need to be the best of the best records, and coming in at number 5, we have Nas's King's Disease 3, which feels like the golden standard on how a rapper should age. KD3 is wise, opulent, and between Hit Boy's soundscape, which feels like the sonic embodiment of these words, and of course Nas's performance, which is one of the hungriest yet most graceful of his entire career, this record is both a celebration of Nas's legacy and also one that teaches us so many valuable lessons that can only be learned by spending decades on this earth and in the limelight at that. At number 4, we have Denzel Curry's Melt My Eyes, See Your Future, and when it comes to records about searching for self-growth and healing, there are not many that offer more perspective than this one. Denzel Curry delivers the best performance of his entire career as his lyrical improvement allows for his thoughts to reach our minds in a direct and more powerful way than ever, and witnessing his journey towards becoming a better man is so valuable for us to see. Denzel stops being scared, he stops searching for validation, and he doesn't just let the world see himself for who he actually is, but he lets himself understand who he is at heart. Doing all of this with a jazz rap sound that makes the record feel like a modern Soulquarian project. Melt My Eyes is without a doubt a hip-hop treasure and one of the top 4 records to release this year. Crack in the top 3, we have the collab album between the Roots frontman Black Thought and production mastermind Danger Mouse, Cheat Code. From Black Thought's all-time great performance, which includes him exploring his identity and mentality in his life with some of the best lyricism he's ever contrived, to Danger Mouse's muddy yet grand score. The world this album puts you in is one of a kind, and the bars and beats these two cook up, along with the amazing features from Joey Badass, A$AP Rocky, Run the Jewels, MF Doom, and many others, makes Cheat Codes one of the best rapper-producer albums not just of this year, but of all time. Coming in at number 2, for our runner-up album of the year, we have Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and in terms of albums that are musical landmarks, Mr. Morale is one of the most important works that we have received in a very long time. Everything we know about Kendrick Lamar from a topical and musical standpoint is tested, and we are challenged with understanding the raw and unmasked version of somebody proclaimed as hip-hop's savior, and we only end up loving him more as a result of this. Lamar is so vulnerable through the entirety of this record, and his narrations work like therapy sessions, where each moment he comes closer and closer to the person he wants to be. Kendrick goes into some very dark holes here, and this allows for us to see the true man behind all of the success and the acclaim. The resolutions he finds through his self-exploration makes this album not just one of the most important of the year, but one of the most healing in hip-hop's entire history. And at number 1, taking our spot as the 2022 album of the year, we have JID's The Forever Story, which is not just the best album to release this year, but it is one of the best hip-hop records released in quite some time. From The Forever Story's musicality to the themes it explores and fleshes out, JID puts together a masterclass here on how to make an all-time great hip-hop record in today's day and age. From the current state of the rap game and the music business and Jid's own place in it, to his own upbringing and development as an individual, Jid ripped out a piece of his heart to give us a record that does such a fantastic job at telling his entire life story as both a man and a musician. The manner in which JID is able to explore the dark parts of being a musician and simultaneously connect them to his own life through concepts such as family and grief in moments like Crack Sandwich and Cody Blue 31 is truly genius. Overall, between the knowledge and heart packed into this record, along with its otherworldly soundscape, perfect features from names like Mos Def, 21 Savage, and Lil Wayne, and most importantly, the all-time great performance from JID, which pushes his vocal and storytelling abilities to new heights while also making for one of the most exciting and unpredictable lyrical performances in hip-hop's history. Forever Story is truly timeless, and it is our album of the year. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Be sure to comment down below what you think, what you disagree with. Do you agree with my album of the year? Do you agree with my top 5? Let me know everything in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. This video took a lot of work, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. We got a lot of great content coming in 2023. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are dropping our top 100 songs of the year list very soon, and we got a lot more content planned for 2023, so be sure to stay around. Thank you all for watching. Mr. Fantastic Hip Hop signing out. Have a great day.